Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be playing the Stanley Parable for like the third time because if you've been watching social media and stuff for my channel, you'll see that I kinda lost all the footage of this game, so now I'm replaying it, so. But either way, I'm still gonna enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoy it. It's a really good game. I recommend that you check it out yourselves, but without further ado, let's get into it.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
Number 427.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley
like an easy
relished
job.
every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Did I? Or, I mean, it's a cramped office, but what if I just wait here and work, you know?
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be
Just wait
happy.
for an order to come.
Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
And it faded to black. But remember, the end is never.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley
Where could
decided
they
to go to the
be?
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
I can turn those off. Jeez, man, why are all these employees just leaving their computers on? Especially when they're not here. Waiting input. I guess I inputted an input.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
What did I? I'm not so sure. Yeah, I didn't go. I didn't go.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yeah.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
I get a drink? That'd be cool. Let's see, it is...
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Yeah, man, I mean, like, let's just take a second and sit down.
At this point,
Relax.
Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality.
Wow.
It's possible that this is why everyone left.
How rude, narrator.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Alright. I guess I'll get up and leave. That coffee maker is not plugged into anything. It doesn't even have a cord.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
You know what? Sure.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave
Tips
of
for not getting
disbelief,
fired.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
The broom closet.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Still interesting. There is...
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
This executive bathroom. Oh, come on. I want in the executive bathroom. But this, a secretary? Secretary turned her computer off. Wow.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of
Those are
any
big
human
windows.
life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him, and so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
But I do, because I heard you.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Okay, now it's starting to look like a horror game. I really hope it's not.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Totally not creepy at all.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Light is on. Call external 914 immediately. Light is on. Who do I call? Where do I call? Look, it's that picture that you could find on my socials if you follow them. The little sneak peek was right here. Mind control facility.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
That would be a lot of money. Also up there, that reminds me of Stargate for whatever reason. This way?
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed.
427,
Each
that's
bore
me.
the number of an employee in the building.
Wow.
Stanley's co-workers. The lives
That's
of so
creepy.
many individuals reduced to images on a screen. And Stanley, one of them, eternally
blind spot up
wanted in
there.
this place where freedom meant nothing.
That sound. Oh.
This mind control
Pirate?
facility, it was too horrible to believe it
Fire?
couldn't be true.
And there's some
Had
blanks.
Stanley really
blank
been under
ones.
someone's control all this time?
Oh.
Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation.
Wow.
Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and
So
commanded
high.
from this
Reminds
very
me of like a
place.
bomb shelter.
And as the
or
cold
something.
reality of his past
Ooh,
began
we
to
got the
sink
moody
in,
lights.
Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
And that is what I shall do. That's a big screen.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes,
That
he had
is
won.
a big door.
He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still
wow,
lay
that's kinda-
unsolved. Where had his co-workers
This is
gone?
not where I
How had
was.
he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold?
Birds out
But
there.
as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go.
There's
No
a
longer
tree,
would anyone tell him where to go, what to do,
a
or
barn.
how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his.
A
And that was
nice
all
blue
he needed
sky
to know.
with birds.
It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
What's with the brick walls? Where am I? Ireland or Scotland or something?
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Was happy. But that's not how it ends. 'Cause the end is never. Interesting.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Is it raining outside?
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Wow. I don't remember this. It's raining. Is there a way to go out the window? But I can't jump. It's interesting. I can't see nothing out there though. Another input. Weird to hear the rain.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Do I? Yes, I do.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Still locked. It opened. Wow. Fancy. Money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast, money crisp. That's interesting. What a nice painting. That's supposed to be the outside of the building right there? But I can tell you it doesn't look like that. Find these doors. Oh no, they have a gun to a panda? Business strategy? What the heck? That's sad. There's an elevator. Huh. I'll go down, I guess. The narrator singing along to the song? Oh, he is. Wow. What are these on the walls? Is this the layout of the office or something? Dang, this is a long elevator ride. What if I go up? That was fast. This is the same place. What a troll. That's not cool.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, This keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet.
I remember.
And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy. So he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Oh wow, this calming New Age music.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
This light is still red. How do I call 914? There's a security camera here. Huh? Well, I'm locked in.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
You know what, with these catwalks and platforms, it's making me think of...
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each
Star
bore the
Wars.
number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The
I'm
lives of
Bespin,
so many individuals
if you know what I
reduced
mean.
to images on a screen.
I'm not gonna say too much because I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen Star Wars, but if you haven't seen Star Wars right now, what the heck is wrong with you? Except for the 7 through 9, those movies were horrible.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true.
See it up there, wow.
Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Possibly.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content.
There's a big
Walking,
red button.
Eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For
Well,
he
actually,
would dismantle the controls once and for all.
danger, electric shock risk. Well, actually, I want to go back to my job, so...
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After
did.
they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley.
Absolutely.
I applaud your effort, I really do.
Right.
But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off
Does these
track,
numbers
you're
mean
going to have to do
anything?
much better than that. I'm
Oh,
afraid you
will
don't
I?
have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system.
What's with
In
that
the event
huge
that this
black
machine is
screen?
activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making
Whoa.
things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley?
That door opened.
It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your
come
heart's
on.
desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in
music
mind.
is
What a
bumping.
shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me,
3.
where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free.
Erased.
Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times,
cruel.
I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a
That's not
crisp.
it.
I have to say this, though. This version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to
One
make
is blue.
sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with
2
it.
is purple.
I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional
that say?
seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees.
I don't think it says anything.
Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this
3
room was
is
capable
regular
of
blue.
turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything,
Red is
anything,
also one.
something
What the
here will
heck?
save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your
Music's
death.
pretty.
You're only still
sick.
playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for
Enable
every
backup
moment that you're
power.
powerless.
What's backup power?
To see you made humble. This is not a challenge.
What's this?
It's a tragedy.
Ooh.
You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't.
Goodbye,
Take a look
427.
at the clock, Stanley.
Oh,
That's
gosh.
30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a
Couldn't
big
do
boom
it.
and then nothing. No ending here. Just
You know,
being blown
this
to
pit with
pieces.
that's circular
Will you
with the
cling
red lights
desperately to
reminds
your
me
frail
of
life? Or will
what
you let
happened
it
to
go
the Sandman
peacefully?
in Spider-Man
Another
3.
choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's
I'll
all
hide
the same
right
to me.
here.
All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
What the heck, narrator? But don't worry, the end is never.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
The end is never. The end is never.
No
Why did
matter
they
how
all say
hard
that?
Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Why did they all say that the end is never? Strange.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
This room
he
is so
entered the door on his left.
Empty. I'm gonna go right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Nah.
Wow. Yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No, thank you. Can I close it? No.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't
Oh,
5
look at
years
this.
ago.
A lot of storage. What does this say? Do not jump from the cargo lift while it is in motion. Will cause death. Okay. Penalty for misuse of cargo lift, $1,000. Penalty for jumping off of the cargo lift, $5,000. So, if I don't do any of that with the cargo lift at all, I don't get charged. What if I just jump?
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
I am very powerful.
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
So you trying to tell me something, narrator? Whoa. I didn't know I could do that. Oh, come on, let me over. Let me get to the window. Whoa, I didn't know about that. Going out the window. Oh, I went out the window. Whoa.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be?
Yes.
Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
No.
Ah, then in that case we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is Rich.
I don't know.
Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected Continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
How nice of you. There's a wall here. Huh. What happens if I do come back here? Obviously, I have to begin again. There wasn't any more to do.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
Well, I'm gonna see it now. I'm back.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Yes.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want, like right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain.
And if you're gonna
there
sing
once
to me.
was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. Yes.
Oh, wow.
You too will become quite unbearable.
That was beautiful, narrator. Thank you for singing it for me. Is it just music from now on now? I'm in some kind of boxed room. Gotta say, I'm enjoying the music. Funny how I can't even see in the office either. So I think that's all. So I'll begin again. Because the end is never.
All of his co-workers were gone.
That was interesting. I liked it.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Is this different? I thought it was supposed to curve to the right. Huh. Strange.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I'll go right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Just to admire it.
The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it about this room that called so deeply and so personally to Stanley? Its grace, its subtle charm? No. Stanley knew it was something deeper, something darker.
Something darker, huh?
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nah. I think I'll use the cargo lift.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's
Do not
incredible
lie.
he wasn't
If you are
5 years
lying
ago.
right now, stop. Yeah, guys, don't lie. You shouldn't lie to people, jeez.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
Who have I forgotten about?
Stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Her?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself.
I have
to
a
put
wife?
your work aside to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
She's been waiting, huh? Whoa.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this.
This totally isn't creepy.
If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Sounds so sad, narrator. Picked up the phone. Apartment 247.
Oh, Stanley, is that you?
Wow.
Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting.
That's
I'm
too
just
much of a
putting the bread out of the
coincidence.
oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
How dare you, narrator?
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife? They want to commit their life to you. I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
You saying I'm not special? I'm gonna leave.
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
Well played, narrator.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
I died. Good morning, employee 427. Press K on your keyboard.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Listen, I'd do Stanley's job if I got paid just to press buttons.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
My world is changing.
Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home.
You know what? I get why I can't go over there now. I'm hallucinating. I'm in my office.
One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
That's why there's a table under there. That's supposed is there so I can't get there because it's my chair.
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
So mean. Press K to watch TV. Please
and so
do.
he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Time to spend time with the boys.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Tell my kids a story. I don't have kids.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and
I
so
don't
in
have
his
a
head,
wife.
he relived it
Whoa,
again,
everything's
and
really
then again,
changing.
and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Tell my wife I love her. She's not real.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
See, This is a bit of a trick question, though, because even if I don't push it, nothing's gonna happen. Boy, the clock ticks. Oh, that's awesome. I guess I'll push the button.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Going to question nothing, because I can't hear you.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
Please
Stanley
die.
pushed a button.
Oh,
And I tried again.
that was a big
And Stanley
leap.
pushed a button. And I
Oh. Well, I think that's where I'm going to call it for this episode. It's been a lot of fun. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.